It's Thursday, November 20th, 2025, and it's the 324th day of the year, and things are about to get plumb wild as we go into Thanksgiving. The pattern flip we warned you about is locked in. A massive blast of cold air is charging south, and it's going to reshape holiday travel for tens of millions. So as you can tell, we got a lot to talk about, so let's dive right into it. In our last video, we told you to watch out for a major pattern change around Thanksgiving, and that's what we're going to dive into first and foremost on this video. We're taking a look at the temperature anomaly map here from the CPC for the 8 to 14 day time period. So this is actually mostly focused on just after Thanksgiving, but man, we're going to have a huge pouring over of cold air from Canada across the vast majority of the United States, especially in the north central US, from the northern plains, from Montana, all the way over into the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley, but even down into the deep south, Dallas, Atlanta, Raleigh. You guys are all going to be below average as we go into the latter half of November. Now let's take a look at this on the temperature anomaly map. This is how much above or below average we're going to be. And some of you are probably thinking that I'm plumb wild because it's warm. Why are we talking about cold, Ryan? In fact, we've been setting records in the south over the past couple of days. It's going to continue to be warm tomorrow at 7 a.m., 20 degrees above average in Arkansas, for example. A lot of the southeast is going to be having fun in the sun on Saturday and Sunday. But I'm telling you, there is a pattern change coming here, and that's what we're going to be talking about next. So this is all going to start on Tuesday, and as we go into Wednesday, you can really see it here. All that warm air is going to start being pushed off to the east, and we're going to have a big outpouring of cooler air moving into the central U.S. Now, this is not very cold air to begin with. We're looking at near average temperatures to maybe 10 degrees below average, especially up north there. But the real power with this pattern flip is going to be the staying power. This is not just a 1 or 2 day thing. This is going to stick around for a while, and it's going to get more intense on Thanksgiving. This is what we're looking at on the 27th around 1 p.m. We're maybe 10 to 15 degrees below average in the Ohio Valley, but notice how pretty much everyone is dealing with these colder temperatures at this point, except for over there on the West Coast. But as I go past Thanksgiving, okay, we're going to be talking about Black Friday. We're going to be talking about some really busy travel periods during the weekend here. This is when the cold really starts to settle in. We're talking about negative 20, maybe even negative 30 degrees below average up there in the Dakotas and Minnesota. And just look at how much this cold air sticks around in the southeast and the eastern United States. And yes, there is another huge pocket of cold air that's going to be coming down right after that. So this is a pattern that we are going to be stuck with for quite some time as we go into the latter part of November and early December. Now, with all this frigid air coming down from the north, that comes along with the threat of snow, as you've probably heard all over Facebook and various social media sites. We're still not close enough to have a really solid idea of exactly what this is going to look like, but here's the gist, okay? There is going to be a large storm system, and that's going to be the main driving factor behind the influx of cold air from Canada coming down into the central and eastern United States. That large storm system is going to be drawing up a bunch of moisture from the Gulf and the Atlantic, and that is going to lead to precipitation. Okay, we're going to have rain certainly across the East Coast before Thanksgiving. This is what it could look like out there on the 26th, but not just the East Coast either. We're also talking about a separate storm system impacting the Pacific Northwest over into the Rockies around this time as well. And this will also have some implications for your travel plans on the days before Thanksgiving. But the main driving factor here is going to be that big trough that comes in and really settles in on Thanksgiving. And right now, it doesn't look like there's going to be a huge phasing between the cold air and the majority of the precipitation. So that means that the vast majority of everyone, according to this run of the GFS, is going to get rain. But man, we are just a few ticks away from this being a major impactful storm in terms of snow. More than likely for the Great Lakes region up into Canada, it doesn't look like this would be like a big southern snow. I know there's some images floating around on social media of snow above 6 inches as far south as into Tennessee and Kentucky. I don't think that's what we're looking at, but there's definitely a shot here for Indiana, Michigan, Ohio. You can see how some snow starts to mix in there in Ohio, for example, during the day before Thanksgiving. So this is something that we'll continue to watch. We're 7 days out. I'll have another update for you in a couple days, and if we've got more solid concrete evidence of a snowstorm, we will start hyping it up, I promise. Right now, though, it's too early for that. The one thing that we do know for sure, though, is that we're going to have some very high quality cold air sticking around for quite some time after Thanksgiving. So there's probably probably going to be a couple of different instances where we will have a real shot of snow before we get into December, especially over here in the West, but we can't rule out the central United States or the eastern United States, and we'll talk more about that here in a moment. We're going to dive much deeper into that, but first, let's shout out today's awesome sponsor. Smalls voted #1 cat food. We get a lot of viewers on our live streams when we do storm coverage, but I'm starting to think that our biggest demographic is cats. We love seeing all the pictures of them y'all send in. Cats sitting in front of the TV, pawing at the radar, staring me down like they know something I don't. That's why I'm excited to tell y'all about today's sponsor, Smalls. Smalls, the cat food made with real human-grade ingredients you'd actually recognize. It's protein-packed, preservative-free, and it shows up right at your front door. No mystery filler, no weird smell. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. You just have to share a few quick details about your cat's diet, health, and preferences, and Smalls is going to build a personalized sampler just for your cat. After switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners find that their cat's health has improved. We're talking softer fur, better digestion, and more focus when they're watching my live streams. The team at Smalls is so confident that your cat will love it that you can try it risk-free. They'll refund you if your cat won't eat it. What are you waiting for? Give your cat the food it deserves. And for a limited time, because you're a Ryan Hall viewer, you can get 60% off your first order, plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/y'all. That's 60% off your first order plus free shipping if you go to smalls.com/y'all. There's a link in the top of the description. Go check it out, and let's get back into the forecast. Our top story today is going to be the significant rainfall event that's happening in Texas right now. We've got a rare, moderate risk of excessive rainfall down here west of San Antonio, west of Kerrville. This includes Rock Springs, Interstate 10 between Fredericksburg, Kerrville, and Sonora. There's a larger slight risk that surrounds that does include San Antonio, and it includes Brownwood. And then also we've got a separate slight risk up here for portions of Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas. And this is all associated with a system that brought some severe weather yesterday and will continue to bring some severe weather today to the Dallas area up towards Oklahoma City and then even over towards Little Rock. But the main threat is certainly going to be rain. Check out what the radar could look like over the next 24 hours or so. You can see those storms forming up today and training over the same areas. That's why we've got that flooding risk. Some places could see up to 10 inches of rain in a pretty short period of time, but the vast majority of places will see a lesser amount than that. We're talking about a widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain from Missouri all the way down to the Texas border. Even beyond that, there's a half an inch to 2 inches of rain that could fall across the entire state of Kansas over towards Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia. So this is going to be some welcomed rainfall for a lot of people, but specifically right down in here, some of that's going to fall way too fast and it could cause life-threatening flooding. So make sure you are ready for that. And again, I've got to mention that today's storms don't only bring about rain. There's also a severe weather threat there. There's a marginal risk of severe weather today that includes Dallas, San Antonio, and Little Rock. And this is driven by a very low tornado risk. Okay, so we actually do have a 2% tornado probability here for Little Rock, Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio today. So get ready for that. Make sure you have a way of getting alerts. This is a good day to watch YallBot if you want to get those alerts in real time and have some nice info relayed to you, just like I would do, but in a 24/7 robot format. Okay, so let's go over everything again for everyone one by one here. Of course, as this rain moves off to the east, the stuff that we're talking about down here today, it's going to fizzle out a little bit, but it could bring some heavy rain to the Ohio Valley and East Coast over the next couple of days into the weekend. But for the most part, it's going to be good temperatures, high temperatures, and not very bad weather in the East Coast over the next couple of days. The next thing that we're going to watch is this low pressure system down here around Baja, California on our Saturday. That's going to bring some potentially flooding rains up into Arizona and New Mexico, some snow in the higher elevations of New Mexico and Colorado. And this might actually be our next big storm that we've got to watch for severe weather. I'm pretty confident that we'll have some sort of severe weather situation over here in Texas, Arkansas, maybe even up into Kentucky, Tennessee, Illinois on your Sunday into Monday. That even could be a problem as we go into later in the afternoon on Monday as well. But that also turns into mostly a heavy rain threat as we go into Tuesday for the Northeast. And then, of course, our next next big focus is going to be the Thanksgiving storm, which is going to bring a lot of rain and dreariness to the Northeast and to the Mid-Atlantic. There's going to be a big push of cold air behind that. And what happens with that cold air? Is it just going to sit there? According to the GFS, that's a big possibility. This cold air is here. If there was a big storm that formed, this could cause a big whopper of a snowstorm. But right now, it looks mostly quiet in the immediate time period after Thanksgiving. Notice how there is another big storm that slams the Pacific Northwest up here on the 28th, so get ready for that in Portland and Seattle. But is there anything else? Yeah, there's a decent storm that tries to traverse over the Rockies here and bring some snow into Nebraska and Iowa. And look at all that moisture down there in the Gulf. That's a bona fide storm system down there in Louisiana. Is it going to link up with some cold air? It doesn't look like it. So, there's a lot of different things that could happen here with the cold air in place. Right now, there's no big snowstorms to latch onto, but this is the kind of pattern that can lead to that thing. So make sure you are subscribed and you turn notifications on, because things are going to evolve quickly here as we enter this very active pattern. And that's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you today. Once again, as we learn more about this Thanksgiving system, if we need to, I'll have consistent updates for you. Otherwise, it'll be a couple of days before you hear from me again. The latest I will have another video is Monday, so that'll be a really good update for us. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you slap a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.